you're driving, you can't tell that people live there. You just see bush and acacia trees. This is a completely new area for Girlhub, so it was pretty exciting.
What we set out to see was really get under the skin of what a typical day in life for girls in Afar is. And I think we came very close to that through our work, in terms of just meeting as many girls we could whilst we were there, to really speak to them, but also to observe and to see their day, and not just from their perspective, which is of course important, but the perspective of people in their community and the real demands made of them and the pressures that they have. If you had the power to change one thing in your community, what would that be and why?
Our research methodology consisted of focus group discussions with girls in and out of school. We had one-on-one interviews with adolescent girls.
They
have been talking to me on the very important structures which are playing critical role in their lives and opportunities, and these are religion and clanship.
Suma marriage is a big thing in Afar. The girl marrying her cousin on her mom's side. So this is just customary. This is something that is expected of the girl.
We went into field with discussion guides and activities prepared for in-depth interviews, and not only with girls but also religious and clan leaders, which we knew would have a lot of influence in their communities, but also fathers and mothers.
The clan leader has been so resistant and didn't want to provide any information related to Afar. But later he came open, and he said that if it is anything related to water and school, this is something that clan leaders and the community in Afar should be concerned about.
I'm really get surprised how you interviewed the kids, how you interviewed the elders, especially the kids one. You just started with playing and with fun, so that you can easily get the real information that you need.
We played games. We used pictures and basically made it really interactive experience so that we were able to build trust.
Giving the girls a range of pictures that represents things that are maybe part of their life, so things that they see around them, so motherhood, having a baby, and being at home. But then also a range of images that represent things that perhaps they either might do in their life or not, so things like education, attending school, and also potential aspirations for them. So both in Afar, so perhaps teaching, but also outside. So we've got a photo, one of them is a pilot, and just to represent if they aspire to do things beyond and outside of Afar.
There is nobody who achieved college or have any profession who got out of this village, so they just don't have any role models.
Lots of them were talking about education and had professions and careers and to be managers. But it didn't seem to equate to actually the reality. The girls definitely carry the weight of responsibility in the family, and that seems to be very ingrained.
She's about 8 years old, and I found her walking along this way. She's been fetching water, and she carried a jerrycan over here. And there is a baby, and also another jerrycan on her hand, and it's about 2 kilometers from here. It's very far, and it's very hot. And she is doing this twice a day.
The girl-led learning journey helps you live like a girl, and you see what they're doing and you do what they do.
We left
left one of the villages and we followed a girl on her journey that she would sometimes walk 2 or 3 times a day to the water well. And when we got there, there were 2 girls who were actually pumping the water, and then there was a group of girls sat underneath the tap, and some of them were washing clothes and other people were just gathering the water in jerry cans ready to take back to the village. And it was really kind of labour intensive work, particularly in this heat. It was just amazing to see them all working together. So ever so often the girl that was having to pump would swap with the girl underneath, and so she'd get the cool water on her face, and I just stood there watching them for about 10 minutes, just kind of in awe. It was an amazing picture.
Having it filmed and having everything kind of documented, I think it really helps in just capturing the actual moment and what actually happens and what it is like there.
It helps the credibility of the research. If it is aided with all photographs and videos, it can easily be understood for the third party.
It's definitely been one of the hottest days filming I have ever experienced.
It was burning. It was very hot.
It feels like you're in a sauna, and just the thought of actually having to carry grain, supplies, water, walk 3 kilometres, firewood in every day, at least twice a day in burning heat, and this is winter.
The clan is about the Afar culture.
I think one of the potential facilitators of the clan mechanism is there's a real infrastructure. We purposely set out as a cross-functional team, so we had representatives from band, from comms, from insights, so complementary skill set, and everybody comes together and actually can think about, okay, what did they take out of it, what was their perspective on all the objectives and the issues that we investigated. From that point onwards, there's a number of ongoing conversations and coming back to it and really interrogating where your thinking is and clashing that with other people's impressions and ideas to then really finally get to the kind of finalised recommendations and debrief. The land doesn't allow permanent sustainable farming, so it's a pastoral lifestyle, which means the community has to move around to where there's water for the cattle, and the heat, the lack of water. So there's hostilities in the environment, and through that, there's widespread poverty in the area.
Talking to girls who have been attending to this school. As you see, it's a poor facility with 1 teacher, and it needs a lot of improvement. Many of them has told me that it is the quality of the school which has prevented them to be in a school.
Assuming marriage really affects girls' opportunities. On the set of menstruation, that marks when a girl is ready for marriage, and at that age there is a real drive by the community for her to be married as quickly as possible.
One of the ladies we spoke with on the first day of the trip mentioned that the Absuma asked her daughter to marry her cousin, but she just sent her kid to Addis, and she just said she just ran away.
So for me, it was just a really fascinating story, just showing how you can't necessarily rebel or break rules, but you have to get around situations.
Girls have to be obedient, needs to be good at housework in order to be ready for marriage. And he said men can be as they wish.
Everybody respects hierarchy, and this is something that we can use as an advantage. So this is an opportunity.
The biggest opportunities we have is showing the benefit of education to the entire clan as a whole, and just try to show them how it can benefit them all.
أهد ما هدي وهجد بابينا توكا في السلة لكن مسكين حتى توقف كرك على دينا أنا ما يملي ده ما درجي ده لأنه تام أبينه كادوك دكان دي ساشتنو كادوك عروة دي ساشتنو يبرم برسل ما باشتنو كادوكو اللي لحنا نشوك هاي شيء تهينو عروة كندي ساشتنو.
She wasn't able to have an education because she was asked to come back to Afar to get married to her cousin. But because she had this exposure in Djibouti to people that started their own businesses, they were in effect role models, and for her it proved invaluable because now being married and she still had ambition and aspiration.
I would like to be able to give them something that they say, this is also possible and I can do this.